Hello everybody, Xyno here, and I've come up with a topic I'm pretty sure no one ever cared to talk about or never thought to talk about. But that is pretty much being how Sonic Team, anytime in the future, from here until the end of time or whenever they cease to become a company, if that ever happens, will they ever do to implement ray tracing into their games? Because over the past few years, ray tracing has actually become a possibility in terms of real-time path and ray tracing with like the RTX graphics cards that have been released and the rumored next-gen consoles that actually will probably have the ability to do this in software or hardware, depending on how well they support it. This, I think, is a huge deal for Sonic because I have a feeling they're not going to touch it at all because it seems like him in like boost formula games have the tendency to move so fast you're never going to care to notice, or it's going to be too taxing to even attempt to try and do all of that real time consistently throughout the level. Like imagine you're in let's just say they, for some reason, re-release Sonic Generations with ray tracing support. You play Speed Highway, and you're blasting through those buildings, and they have that reflective glass on there. But this time, they actually have it where it's real-time reflections and lighting and shadows, or whatever they want to do. They could do lighting for real-time bounces and shadows, or they could do just reflections like Battlefield 5 did, or do a combination of all of them like the game Control. I think that's the game. Don't quote me on that. But would you bother stopping to look for these details, or would you be like, yeah, the cube map or whatever they use for reflections would just be good enough because you're going to blast through it, and the only thing your brain's going to think in that motion blur moment would be, oh, that's glass, that reflects something, I don't care what it is because I'm blasting through the level. And that seems like a huge waste of graphical power, but it's really tough to say because recently Sonic Team hasn't been pushing the graphical limits of the consoles lately because games like even Sonic Forces or Sonic Generations is probably not a good example because it's so old now, but Sonic Forces came out and you can play that game in 4K over 60 FPS with a decent graphics card these days. Like I played it and I looked at my graphics monitor in 4K, it was using like 40% of my GPU and it was like bottlenecked to something. It wasn't my CPU, it was something that just limited it to 90 FPS in 4K, and I was just baffled like how little resources it actually uses because the game is pretty in some parts, but it could use a lot of work in others. But if they ever make an adventure-style game, which might be another topic I might be talking about here soon, because everybody has to talk about it. I kind of want to try and talk about it in more detail on why they're not doing it, but that's a topic for another video. If they ever do an adventure-style game, I feel like it would be a little more useful in terms of dynamic lighting and shadowing, especially if they add, I hate overusing the word dynamic, but destructible environments. Like imagine you're running through a level and you destroy a lamppost, and that lamppost generates real-time shadows used by ray tracing technology, be that the Xbox Series X, the PS5, or your RTX card. You know, it would still be a neat little touch to see stuff like that happen, and it would improve the immersion and the general quality of the game, since it would look real, you know, for a Sonic game, and that's saying something because we haven't really seen a push like that, like I said before. Like a good, perfect example for that, and I know you probably skipped this part of the video real fast because it's just another useless demonstration, but imagine you're playing Sonic Adventure 2, re-released with ray tracing, and they decide to, in Tails' level, have all those lampposts in that, Mission Street, where you destroy lampposts and stuff like that, or the dynamic lighting of those beetle enemies. The gun beetles actually have lights and stuff like that. They could have reflective laser beams from whatever those gun robots are shooting, and you see them in reflective surfaces. Or they could actually sheen Tails' mech correctly without having it look like a piece of plastic, and they can have it specular reflective and reflect ray tracingly, I can't really explain the better word for it, in a more realistic manner than ever before with this new technology. And it's just those little things that make it easier to develop for games because they no longer need to be, the models and textures no longer need to be mapped to reflect certain things with textures. They can just do it in engine with ray tracing. It would speed up development, and I mean, that just easier game dev means faster games. It's like a give and take, but I don't know. It's just a small little thing. I don't know why it even came across my head. Probably just because the new graphics cards are coming out, the new consoles are coming out, no Sonic game has come out, and Sonic hasn't pushed for any graphical fidelity in a long time. And I think that's kind of sad. And I want to see how they use this technology, because even though it's a kid's game and it's not like ray tracing is a buzzword for kids who like graphics these days. I mean, to be honest, probably kids don't even care these days about graphics because they all look pretty and they're, everything looks pretty these days. But it'd be cool if they put that on their checklist on something to do or use it with, and see if it's performant enough to include it in a fast-styled platforming game like Sonic. And I hope they do. I guess that's the thing I have to put in this video. I hope that they do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this quick little video. I don't know what else to say other than thank you for watching, and if you hit this to the end, good job, and stay tuned for the next video if you want to stay tuned for my videos. You know what to do for all that junk, so until next time, Xyno is out of here.